How's it going, Song of Ice and Fire fans? It's Grant from Yecats Miniatures, bringing you episode 2 of series Squires of Ice and Fire, where me, Karl, Steve, and James all build an army in slow motion whilst painting it. How's it going, guys?
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Grant. Thanks for having us.
I think slow motion is the word, but yeah, carry on.
I was underestimating of the time it takes to paint miniatures. Having taken so much time recently to sort of run events and do stuff, I've not really been doing much painting. And I thought I had that in the last week, and I've put so much pressure on myself to get these painted. But I'm pleased where we are.
Yeah.
But there's Karl sitting there with his fucking 8 models. It was done about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit less than that, wasn't it? It was 6.
It's very true. It's 6 models, wasn't it? Yeah, right. You're all right. Cool. Okay, cool. So we're going to go through this then. We're going to make it nice and quick for people. So first up on screen, we're going to check out Karl's stuff. So as you came around, and we had a very like a ghost montage where you sat in the chair, I sat behind you, straddling you, and we did some airbrushing stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously airbrushing was a brand new thing to you coming into this. How have you found it?
Do you know what? Other than you straddling me, I actually really enjoyed the airbrushing.
You loved it.
Yeah, he kept telling me it was his big dry brush, but I wasn't convinced.
It's the flow improver.
Yeah. Getting back to airbrushing, really, really enjoyed the process. Like Steve alluded to before, if you can get it down, then it will really speed up your painting full stop. And I've hand on heart got to say, after we done the test models and I had the practice run, I was able to get through them quite quickly, which set me up really well to finish for the challenge this month.
Honestly, the airbrushing with horses, I found it to be such a massive a time saver, because you just really get that, as we were talking at the time, getting that muscle definition. And also, we've got on screen now these the veterans that you painted, that getting the nose and the stocks and stuff, it makes such a nice transition on the miniature, makes it so easy to do. And also the skin tones on the miniatures are really nice as well, but we'll get into another point. We're just talking about your airbrushing now. I think you've done really well there, mate. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I really appreciate the input. And yeah, there's definitely some things I've taken away from that. So when we come on to the next batch of models, I'm just going to start sort of pushing it a little bit further, trying different things. But yeah, really happy with how they came out. Thank you.
What do you think of that, Steve? What do you think of them?
Yeah, I think it's good. Like I said, the airbrush is a massive game changer. You can get nice subtle blends that you can't get from a paintbrush. And yeah, it certainly saves time. Yeah, they look smart.
What are we thinking, James? Obviously, he's our Targaryen expert. Has he stepped up to the mark?
I mean, I'm a little bit jealous because I think he's looked much better than mine, to be fair. But yeah, no, honestly, Karl's done a really good job. I love the basing on it. I think it really brings the whole piece together. And yeah, do you know what? The airbrushing makes such a difference when you're painting the horses. Maybe that's something I might look at doing in the future.
Yeah, definitely highly recommend it. And obviously, people listening, if there's anything they want spoken about more in the next episode, do drop us a comment or a message, and then we'll make sure we cover that. So just obviously for people that are starting out with airbrushing, then Karl. So as someone that was skeptical going into it, how easy do you feel it was for people? Would you recommend doing it?
100% recommend doing it. I only picked up a cheapish kit off Amazon. I think it was a TimberTech airbrush, comes with a compressor, so it's only basic. There's plenty of tutorials out there. All I would say is just get stuck in and give it a go. I mean, you'll see things like talking about using flow improver to get the paints going through the airbrush properly. Other tutorials, I think Squigma does some tutorials on airbrushing that I've seen. Obviously, I was a little bit skeptical, and I was glad that obviously you were able to give us some input in person, so I wouldn't have messed it up, and I got all the setup. It was all running fine. It's like anything, isn't it? I think you can let things intimidate you to a degree, but you've just got to bite the bullet and get stuck in.
Yeah, and I think people need to understand as well that it's not a really expensive thing to get into. I think to get a basic airbrush setup isn't overly expensive, unless you're looking to do it as a commission pay, in which case then you invest in more expensive stuff. But for the most part, just a basic kit will help you get through things like painting horses and base coating stuff.
Yeah, totally. I looked at it like an investment because I've been hobbying for quite a while, and it's just going to be another tool to the arsenal. I didn't mind paying for stuff out of my own pocket because I'm going to benefit from it, and that's the thing. I don't know if people know about what we're doing. It's all coming out of our own pocket. None of this is supported by anybody. So for us, what we're doing is literally enjoying hobbying.
Nice. Obviously, we've got on screen as well Daenerys and Karl Drogo. So obviously, we're going to focus a bit more on airbrushing, but just so people can see them, we'll put them on screen now as well. Again, they've met the standard that you've sort of set yourself with a veterans, Karl. So well done on that.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of bits I want to work on those models anyway, and that was the war paint. But for now, where they're at, I'm happy. So on to the next one.
Yeah. There's someone in the one of the chats that was talking about that. We'll have to get together and I'll show you how I did all the war paints on mine, and we can sort of you can do some stuff then, can't you?
Yeah, 100%, mate. It would just, I think once the bulk of the army's done, if I can nail the sort of war paint, it'll tie them together even more. Even though each model will look really individual, it's the uniformity as well, isn't it? It just adds to the whole feel.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Next up, I'll put Jamie's stuff on screen. So obviously, you going into this was your main thing was to sort of get into highlighting and doing highlighting. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that first? It looks like you've managed to do quite a bit of it here.
Yeah, as I said, so I wanted to start with the peasants, just as a bit of a practice to try and nail down this technique, which with some pretty heavy input from you guys, has actually come off all right. It's not too bad. They got quite a lot of cloth and stuff on them, so it was kind of a good practice before I move on to something a bit more complex. So yeah, nice. It's actually been quite enjoyable. I think one of the things that's put me off before is it's just never really come out well, and just never really enjoyed it. But actually this time kind of got my head into it, and yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot of character with the unit as well, because obviously this is the first time we're seeing additional stuff put onto the miniatures. Like you put quite a few animals on here. You've got the bits of wood, the trees and stuff. So you've really got a town building being a character within the unit as well.
Yeah, I've never really gone this kind of busy on basing before. It's always been very, very simple. Just again, like Targaryen's just been kind of sand and rocks and a few tufts and that sort of thing. And Greyjoy's was all water based, so it wasn't really that exciting. So this gave me a bit of poetic license to do something totally different. And I've literally got a giant box full of random bits and pieces of tree bits and grass tufts and static grasses and stuff. And I just kind of went, it's forest. Let's just add random stuff into random places and see how it comes out. So yeah, no, it's been enjoyable, and it's the first time I've taken stuff off of bases to base as well, which took a lot longer, but I think the results are a lot better. Which I know you guys are quite fond of doing that as well.
Well, actually, I think at the end, the last point, I think we all took the miniature. Steve might not have done that on his unit, but definitely me, Karl, and
I did.
you did.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just something that I think a lot of people do to try and just make it easier to get to the bits you can't really reach. That's one of the downsides of these pre-assembled models. You can't get into the bits and pieces that you could do if it was, say, like a Space Marine. So obviously this is obviously highlighting on like an earthy tones, which is really nice. We also did Thoris and Mir. I'll put on the screen now. Obviously using a lot brighter colours in this because you had the flaming sword and the red tunics and stuff. How did you find highlighting brighter colours?
Yeah, do you know what? It wasn't too bad because I've got a quite good choice of different colours of reds, so this wasn't too bad. I think when I start looking into some other colours, it might be a little bit more difficult, but actually the red stuff was not too difficult. And he has got, like, because he's in like a movement pose, he's got quite a lot of like ruffles and stuff in his clothing, so it wasn't as difficult as I was expecting it to be.
Nice. Obviously, I'll put up the ghost on screen as well now. This one's obviously quite a muted colour tone as well, but how did you find painting the ghost?
Yeah, she was the least interesting of the lot because I've gone box art with all of my stuff, and she's literally just green cloth and a bit of skin, so she's not very exciting. So I've added some character to her base just to kind of bring it a little bit to life.
Breaking news: James hates old ladies.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Okay, so look forward to seeing what you do next. Obviously, you've got some other brighter units that could come up, but looking forward to seeing what you do with them. And talking of brighter colours, Steve, stuff up on screen now. Nice. I'll put the dervishes up on screen now. Now, Steve, you've done really well there, mate. It's this. You've got some of the crappiest colours to paint ever, yellow and white, and you've managed to make them look really clean and really crisp. Do you want to tell us your secrets on how to paint clean colours?
It is just hours, mate. Hours of sadness. No, it's, to be honest, I do a lot of tricks because I start with a lighter colour, and just, you know, it's a bit of like an old Duncan Rose thing, you know, just thin layers. It's just applying thin layers over each other is the best way I find of doing it.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of like contrast and speed paints as base coats rather than paint.
Yeah.
Because that in itself, it will apply quite a saturated thin colour, and that will do a lot of the work for me, and that allows me to see the bits that really need to stand out. But yeah, yellow is a pain in the ass to paint, but I'm glad I've done it, and hopefully by the end of this project, I'll be able to paint yellow in no time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really nice. What's just the base colour on the yellow?
The yellow base colour is actually a speed paint called Ancient Honey, and it's over a wraithbone undercoat.
Yep.
So it goes on quite bright, but when it dries, it's got that nice, as I said, quite a saturated, slightly off orange colour. and then just going through the Citadel yellows, it just reacts really nicely with them. But the key, I suppose, is all of them, or like most of my colours, have got at least 1 or 2 layers of glazing on them, and that just brings everything together. It's definitely a change from the pre-folk.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really clean. You've done really well with the basing as well. What do you guys reckon, Karl, James?
I love them. I've got a Martel Army, and I remember when I was getting into them, I think the Zenithal highlight and then tried contrast paints, and the way Steve's done it, it just looks so clean and so smooth. I'm really, really sort of jealous I didn't think of that when I was doing them. I love contrast paints for basing. What range is that, Steve? Is that Army Paint or that Speed Paint, or a different range?
That Ancient Honey is Army Paint to Speed Paint.
Yeah, nice.
But I do use a mix of speed paints and contrast paints.
Yeah, they just look so clean. And like you said, the glazing and the two thin coats as well. So that was one of the things I've always kind of stuck with, is a couple of thin coats, and then using your inks and your washes to sort of build up the depth of colours as well. But mate, you've executed it lovely on them. They look really nice.
It's certainly a long process, but yeah, I'm happy enough with it, and thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, the yellow is phenomenal. The yellow is so difficult to get right, and he absolutely nailed the cleanness of it. That it looks natural rather than sort of like a false kind of yellow. So yeah, I think you've done a really good job there.
I actually used a lot of I looked at the box art quite a bit. That's why Oberyn got the green sash, because on the front of the starter box he's got the golden yellows, the reds, he's got his armor, but then he's got this really sort of bit of green on him, which just adds another layer of contrast. Good fun to paint.
I'll put Oberyn on screen now. I mean, you painted him as if he's like you. You've basically painted Steve with a spear.
Right, he needed to be handsome, so it had to be done.
I suppose you didn't put a helmet on him then. Yeah, but yeah, he's just really good, mate. Again, really clean, Oberyn, really clean. Even the armor, I was looking at the armor and how clean that the scale mail was in the armor. Yeah, I mean, it's a really good job we've done on him now.
That's a Marine Juice job, the armor.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, good old Marine Juice.
Put a link in the description for Marine Juice, mate. Get kicked back. Steve's hard selling it. It's amazing stuff.
Are you just stuff called Steve Juice?
Call it Magic Wash. Magic Wash.
I'm going to say that I was very skeptical when you guys first told me about Marine Juice. I was like, there is no way I'm putting that into Google.
Next try, there's a really nice dry brush as well called Blue Waffle. And also obviously Doran on screen with his really nice base. He's got like a temple base. Is that what you're going to do for all of your NCU, Steve?
All the NCUs will have the temple base. Yeah, it was tricky because there's a couple that can also be attachments. So I didn't want to go too far from the colour tones of the unit bases. So by going for like a sandstony marble, or just sandstone rather than marble, talking nonsense. It means that at least they won't stand out too much if they're in units.
All right, so we'll go into my stuff then. So I'll put up my stuff on screen now then. These are the Household of Reapers. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know the best way of doing this really, because this is my stuff. I can't really question my stuff about it, but everything that I sort of set out to do initially is what's on there.
I mean, I think the just horrible, dirty colours that you've gone for, as you said, it's just a great contrast from like the Martels. So I'd love to see our two armies on the table when they're finished. like your dark tones, your like dark armor. It's just going to be a really nice contrast. How did you do the cloaks on the Reapers?
The black cloaks.
No, like the sort of greenish, like the greenish black cloaks on them.
Yeah, so they've got 2 layers of cloaks on them. So like for the black part was like I think it's called Necro Black from Scale 75. Highlighted that with paint called Walnut and mixed it into the black and basically building up. So it was more like a brownie highlight within the black rather than it be a grey or a bluish highlight.
Yeah, so it's more natural. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically because I didn't want anything to stand out too much and jump out too much. It's more of a natural highlight. And the green one is Despair Green, which is basically the same as Incubi Darkness from Games Workshop, but Despair Green's a Scale 75 paint again because I've got a lot of Scale 75 paints. All the highlights that I've done on the miniatures all been highlighted with lighter browns. I haven't really, or bone colours, but it's mostly lighter browns and basically building up with that, so it doesn't become too much of a powerful colour.
No, it looks really effective.
I was going to ask you, mate, about the weathering on your scale armour, because I know you've got like it's sort of a rusty effect. Did you do the silver and then get a weathering ink and then scrape it off, or did you work up from a brown and add the silver? Because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that would look amazing on Baratheons, like really grim, darky sort of a feel.
Yeah. So it was really important that for me that I got the weathering stuff across, because I think as Greyjoy is, they're so close to the coast, they're always on boats, so the salt and the water is going to be constantly attacking the metals. Even the weapons are really rusted up. And I actually found this stuff called Dirty Down Rust. No, Steve's used it before, but so
it's amazing.
Yeah. So what I did was I painted it in charred brown by Vallejo, so a really dark brown. It would be, I don't know what would that be in Games Workshop colour. It would
Rhinox hide.
Yeah, Rhinox hide, exactly that. Yeah, so Rhinox hide. So we're just talking about the armour rather than the weapons. So I basically painted all the scale mail, highlighted up a little bit, and then I put this rust effect on there, not knowing what the results were going to be. I thought, well, I'll give it a try, see what happens. What I will say is, if you're going to try it, shake the bottle like there is no tomorrow. I've got a test tube mixer, which I used, and I still shook it. I kept it on the radio for a little bit so it warmed up a little bit because the pigment all sits at the bottom. I didn't realise it had its own ball bearing in it until about 5 minutes into shaking.
I've had the same thing, and you have to warm it up, didn't you? That's the weird thing about it.
Yeah, so I literally stuck it on the radiator, and then once it's on, it remains active. Even when it dries, it still remains active. So I've got like a hard-edged, just slightly damp brush, and just remove the top layer of it so that it stays in all the crevices and the cracks of the armour.
Yeah, like reactivates, doesn't it?
So it's a similar technique to where you see people doing oils then, and then they do like the process is build it up with a base, and then they take it off with like a Q-tip and alcohol and wipe it off all the excess on the high areas. That sounds similar.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as that, except this is like water soluble. So until you varnish it, you can just keep reactivating the water. You just make it damp. You can just, if you decide you don't like it, you can go in with a brush and just wipe it all completely away. But that's the rust stuff I did on there. And obviously I've done Karl and Victorian Greyjoy as well. I'll put it on the screen now. If you guys got any questions on them.
Victorian. What a model. That guy. And building up his base there, he's really going to stand out in the unit. He's going to look really smart because your colours are very similar to the unit. So by having that higher base, it is going to make him stand out.
I was going to ask you, I know we've talked about obviously taking the models of bases, and that was the first for me. But how did you manage to achieve the detail behind Victorian's arms? Because models like that are notoriously hard to get to.
Yeah, so I took the axe off of the body to paint it, so I could get right in there. So I actually painted in 2 parts, so the axe was separate to the body. It just allows me getting a bit deeper with the paint on it.
Nice. Was that a bit of a pain to get back on once you painted it, or was it a pretty nice bit?
With these miniatures, so like they'll either, for me, they go the 2 opposite sides of difficulty. Like they'll either just pop out easily, or you have to cut them out. And his axe arm actually just came out quite nice. Like in his left arm where his elbow is, he's got like a little cube socket bit,
right,
and that just popped out. And his hand's got like a little pin in it, so that just popped out as well. But yeah, it's just a case of wiggling it loose, really. If I was fully prepared, if it had come off, I would have just cut the stump away and just pinned it back in, but it didn't need that. And Roger Karl I've done on a ship base in much the same way as a ship base. not a shit base. And in much same way as you, Steve, is trying to separate it from being an NCU, but obviously the only way that Greyjaws can, which is on the side of a boat.
Yep, absolutely. And those like the wooden planks on the bases do exactly that. Is that a bit of moss you've got in the base as well to make the wood look a bit ruined?
Well, I used the Dirty Down moss effect, but I've also put AK interactive moss texture as well on it as well, just to give it a little bit more 3D element to it.
Mm-hmm.
The moss was amazing. The Dirty Down moss was absolutely incredible, but for me it lacked texture as well, which moss will generally sort of have in certain areas.
Well, he's having a nice read.
He is. He's working out where a sort order is in the deck. He's going to give it to me in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Where did you get your bases from?
So yeah, I got them from modeldisplayproducts.co.uk. It's like an online website. It's got loads of bases. I used them before for my Stark stuff, but instead of obviously the boat stuff, I used like this flagstones and stuff for like Arya Stark, and they've got like a step one that I put Catelyn Stark on. So I knew they were good for NCUs. They fit in the NCU slots, and if really necessary, I can put them into the unit tray as well because it's exactly the same size. But it's really good. Do check them out. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Sweet. Any more questions? Right. Well, if we're all done then, cool. Okay. So cool. So that's the first part of the challenge done. So well done, guys. We've achieved that pretty well. The second part was to write 30-point lists up and play them and see how they sort of performed. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of these with you now. I'll put up on screen now. I'll put where should we start with? Let's pick on James. So James, you got a 30-point list to put on screen now. We had Forest and Peasant Levy, another unit of Peasant Levy with Lem Lemoncloak, Brotherhood Archers with Tom Seven Strings, unit of Men at Arms with Beric Dondarrion, and the Ghost of High Heart and Ravella Smallwood. Cool. So how did you find the 30-point list, James? And what did you like? What didn't you like?
So obviously going with this, the linchpin of this army is the Beric attachment because he's bonkers good, like just so good for what his value is. And the Men at Arms, even though they're a 6-point unit and on paper they really don't look that appealing, when your opponent doesn't have the crown and you get hit 9 dice critical blow on 3s with reroll, with Sundering, that's horrible. It's just horrible. And with the Thoros card, you can throw out Beric. Oh, he got a bad defense roll. He's dead. Oh wait, now he's in a different unit, and then you can tag team Beric and Thoros, and they can run around and do other things. So yeah, mix it in with peasant support and moving attachments around, and yeah, it's interesting. The list has a sort of style, but then you can kind of change it as the game plays because of the way the Brotherhood cards work. And again, on paper, the Brotherhood cards are kind of like mediocre, but actually playing them in real time in the game, it allows you so much more freedom to just do lots of different things. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird because the Brotherhood, from playing them, I don't think they have. I couldn't say to you, right, the Brotherhood do this. This is their thing. This is what they're good at, because they don't have that. They're kind of good at, sort of a little bit good at everything. And I think the cards are situationally just help you out of at that time of what you kind of need to do. But yeah, and lots of healing, which is weird for a guerrilla warfare faction who has, like, in the lore, like 100 guys, right?
Weird. That's the word. That's the word I'd use to describe it. Weird, not shitty. So just look at this list though. Like, it feels like from the starter set, obviously you got the Men at Arms, Beric Dondarrion being your hitting unit, but if you lose them, do you lose all punching power?
Yes and no. So again, on paper, Brotherhood Archers don't look very good, but actually they're very good, like too good for 6 points. Because you get once you start getting shots in the flank, and you got the peasant units, which with disrupt means they're a 6 save, but the disrupt means that they kind of hang around for a bit, and once you start getting some shots out, you start whittling your enemy down that way, and line of sight doesn't matter for those bowmen either, so you can put them in some really good positions. So yes, the Men at Arms are the heavy hitters, but you've got quite a lot of healing and things like that to keep them going. You've got Regroup and Reform you can use your peasants as basically a battery to keep the Men at Arms going. and the ghost giving Beric's unit +1 morale means you're probably passing more morale tests. You're getting more faith tokens. There are cards that like make you do morale tests to get more faith tokens. It's like the synergy between everything and the factions is actually quite easy to do, and the benefits are quite insane. My initial impression is that they are not like Boltons out of the gate. They are actually very, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's quite a lot of people who feel the same. So, so I've got 2 questions for you before we move on to the next person. So, one, how are you finding Ravella Smallwood? I know she's not a fan favourite on the circuit. And secondly, is the army missing a unit? What is this army missing at 30 points?
Well, the obvious choice to add into the army is a unit of Sworn Knights, because the Sworn Knights are very good. They're very, very good for their points. Are arguably probably the best of the 8-point heavy cavalry units that are out there. Mm-hmm. I think they're better than Lance Cavalry personally, but I imagine there'll be others that will argue that. But I think they're very good, especially with the way the faction can help them. And Ravella, actually, I think she's a bit of a dark horse. Played a couple of games, played a few games with her, extra games with her, and I think in moments where it matters, she's actually very useful, because those extra 2 wounds on your turn can boost you up that rank, and now you're hitting with max dice or extra dice or whatever. It can kind of tip the scales in your favour. So actually, I think she's quite good, and it also allows you to help card cycle stuff that you draw early that you don't want, and instead of just discarding it, I'll discard it, but I'll get 2 wounds back. So actually, I think she was better. I think she's better in practicality than she is on paper.
Awesome. So without disclosing what it's going to be, so you know what the you know what the list is missing, right?
Yes, I totally do.
Obviously, one of the games was against Karl's Targaryen, so we'll jump into Karl's now. So Karl, we've got your list up on the screen now. So what you've got is 2 secs. Is it on screen? Yes, it's on screen. Yep. Karl Drogo in vets, Outriders with Jorah Mormont in, Screamers with Outrider Co, and Illyrio and Daenerys. How's this list been playing? What is it missing? Only 3 on table units. How you find having a completely cavalry faction? Obviously, Karl Drogo is a strong character, but how you found the unit? Do you know what it's missing?
So tried a couple of games. I definitely think I gave Karl Drogo way too much credit. I thought he was an invincible one-man army. I mean, vets do what they do. I like the orders that they have. Swift retreat and quick fire. Great if you can move them up, quick fire, and get that cheeky charge in with Drogo, and obviously the expert duelist. The Outriders I really like. I think they're a great unit. Jorah Mormont in them to give them a little cheeky 3-inch shift before they do anything, potentially as well. Mm-hmm. And then Screamers with the Outrider Co. So obviously where Karl Drogo replaces one of the vets, using that model as your Outrider Co.
Yeah, nice.
Gives them a little bit more survivability, because 5-up armor save isn't great. They're there to try and hit and blow stuff up. But if they do get bogged down, then you're in for a bit of a rough time, I found. So yeah, I love Screamers. I think they're a great unit. It's just I need to figure out the combos that I need to get them to work, really.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Next up, we've got Steve's army. So Steve had Oberyn in Stunspear Dervishes, Spearmen with Arrow Hotar, Sand Skirmishers with a Dervish Captain, and Doran Ilaria NCU. Steve. So how you been getting on with this 30-point list?
Well, I mean, Arrow in Martell Spearman was a bad choice. It's just like, he's great at charging things. Martell Spearmen are not designed to be charging things. It's not their job. I mean, Oberyn in Derbyshires, great fun. You know, it means that he can, hit and run stuff, or rather charge in, get hits back, and he can just leave, which is particularly handy. Doran NCU was great, and amazing for 4 points. And Ilaria is just solid, but I just couldn't get the combos to work. I think only having 2 NCUs and 3 on the table units, I just struggled with it. I really struggled with it. I played, a few games at 40 points, and I just struggled with the especially against Karl, with the cavalry just being able to be anywhere I didn't want them to be. It's just solid. And James, I don't want to talk about Brotherhood. I'll get PTSD as well. And and then Greyjoys, mate. There's just too many of them. Just go away. A unit won't die. It's just stop it. I was not prepared. I definitely need to change this list up if I want it to work better.
Fair enough. So do you?
Spoilers, I lost a lot of games.
So do you know what the list is missing then? Do you know what you feel you need to add to it next? Obviously, don't say the unit yet, but
no, wait a minute.
you said what?
Tactics, yeah. I don't really know. I think I need a good sort of middle unit. I need to get my Royal Guard back in there. I think they're just a better choice for Oberyn. So I potentially will paint them next. I'm not sure. Maybe I need some cavalry to counter. I have to try some stuff. I have to do a little bit of theory listing. See what happens.
Awesome. And I'll put my list on screen now. So I've got Ironborn Reavers, Victorian Greyjoy in, Household of Reapers, Reavers with Asher Greyjoy, Ironborn Bowmen with Reaver Captain, Aeron, and Roderick. It is really tough to get a 30-point list out of that starter set, but I do feel like it's a good list. Definitely good options in there. Reavers are just, I'm amazed at how good Reavers are for 5 points, especially when they get a couple of tokens on them. Like, they're absolutely brutal. Especially with Victorian giving you a sort of to charge and keep them charging. The Household of Reapers as well. I really enjoyed them. I really got a feel for getting pillage tokens on units and how much that can really up their game. I know that's their thing, and that's their faction identity. But I didn't realise how powerful it was going to make them. The Bowman with the Reaver Captain, I'm still not sure about outflank. I'm definitely not sure about outflank on the Bowman. I feel like they'd be better served in the deployment zone. I had visions of them giving me access to flanks and rears and give me rerolls, but I think they're potentially going to have a better threat in the deployment zone. And Aeron Greyjoy, as then she was great. Roderick was just amazing. I think if he was a 4-point option in the army, I'd take him. It'd be my first choice. We basically tailor the deck in the first couple of rounds to get the cards I want. How many times have you pulled a card out and think, I don't need that card now. So I was basically putting 3 cards out and drawing 4 back, and knowing that card's gone back into the tactics deck and can come out later on when I actually need it, rather than having to discard it and then redraw. I struggled with manoeuvrability. I definitely felt that Karl's cavalry army were a bit half me to catch. And against Brotherhood, it's just a case of just who can heal the most. I feel like me and James could have played a 24-round game and it wouldn't have ended.
It literally just comes down to dice in the grind.
I feel like if I had other units, I might be able to win that. But then that applies on both sides of the field, right? Because then if James takes other units, then it changes the entire landscape. So I definitely feel like it was an uphill struggle against Brotherhood. But if I don't feel like it was unbeatable, though, I definitely feel like there's some play against them.
Play the scenario.
Play the scenario. So yeah, and that's really cool. So yeah, I've got I know. I think Well, with Greyjoys, my issue straight away was, from playing Starks and Targaryens, the maneuverability was a struggle for me. Not having a cavalry unit was really difficult. But that's something I'm gonna have to learn to play with, because they haven't got cavalry, and I'm refusing to take neutrals just to get a cavalry. I think that we can do something better with the in-house stuff.
So I had the same problem when I tried to go back to playing Greyjoys after playing Targaryens for so long. Do you know what? It was like relearning the game from scratch. From going to it's actually quite a different skill playing Greyjoys without any cavalry than other armies.
Yeah.
So I have a big question then. So what do we think is the best of the 4 starter boxes?
I think Greyjoy is really strong as a starter box, but I don't think it's as strong as Brotherhood.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I think the Greyjoys are. I think Greyjoys are probably the best, and it's just that Brotherhood are new, so we haven't worked out all their tricks yet. Greyjoys have been out for a little while, and we kind of know their stuff. But I think once people get to know the Brotherhood stuff, I think it will bring them down a little bit. But my first game against Brotherhood was against James, and it made me very sad. I mean, not
best
James.
Your best value for money starters, I think, if you're trying to get a 30 point to 40 point list out of the box, is either Night's Watch or Targaryens. I think, because they're both solid armies, aren't they?
Yeah, for value for money, you said it right. You get a lot of cavalry in that box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Targaryen starter box is actually very competitive right out the box.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just Karl wasn't using them. Awesome. Yeah. No, I think that for me. So if I had to rank them out of the 4 that we're using, I definitely think Brotherhood, Greyjoys, probably Targaryens, and then Martells. It's hard though, because a lot of the good characters that are in the game are in the starter set, so it's hard to sort of balance it, I suppose. Okay, sweet. So yeah, we'll crack on then. We don't try not to overrun. Part 3 is talking through the public submissions quickly. So we're recording this on Sunday the 23rd. We are still waiting for some people to submit that I know are planning to still submit. So I'm going to go over the ones we have now, and the ones that haven't been submitted, I'm going to go over them by myself just quickly after this section. Just because obviously we need to give ourselves enough time to edit the video as well, because obviously myself, Karl, going to Welsh GT this weekend. So we need to have this ready prior to Wednesday and scheduled to go live whilst we're driving. Does mean I won't be able to reply to any comments when this goes live, so that's all be all down to Karl, so if he swears, it's him. So first up, let's get some pictures up on the screen now. Cool. Okay, so we're going to go first up on the screen. I'm going to put Squires, the old wolf. He's one of the Warlands in the south, I believe. So he's gone for Brotherhood about banners. We've got 4 models here, so I'm a bit sceptical as whether he's got a whole unit, because to me it looks like he's only painted 4 models. So yeah, but I really like it. He's gone for like a colour scheme. It looks like yellow and green. What do you guys think?
Yeah, nice.
Game.
It's very uniform. Yeah, it's a good colour scheme. And I'm looking at him thinking, I think he's speed painted, whether they're contrast or another range, but they work well because they give the different sort of layers of definition between the varying browns that are being used there. Yeah, they look good.
Yeah. Next up, we have Beric Dondarrion, who's got some freehand. I haven't got a picture of the front of him, just the back with a shield. So I'm presuming it's got the most excellent face ever.
Yeah.
And he got some freehand on the shield. What do you think of the freehand, Steve?
Yeah, it's nice. I always like to see a bit of freehand. It's one of those things that it's hard to pull off neatly, but when you do manage to get it, it's very rewarding. It's nice contrasting colours there as well. The purple against the black looks smart.
I think that's the heraldry of House Dondarrion, I think, right?
It is, yes.
Cool. Yeah, Cat into you next. So I really like what he's done here. He's gone for like a bluey colour. I don't know, is that the colour she used on the box art? Blue.
James, cheers.
Right, talk amongst yourself for 20 seconds while I find the box.
I know it's not overly important, but I really like how he's done like the eyes being ripped out, like Event Horizon style.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
think
looked on well.
Yeah. She's definitely looks like a couple of antibiotics are in order. Get them,
Yeah,
get them,
to
get
be
them
fair,
eyes.
on the box art, they've just got her standing like in a silhouette in the background. So yeah, I mean, make of that what you will. Then paint her whatever colours you like.
Absolutely.
Well, it's nice. It sort of it goes. I imagine the blue and red are to sort of hark back to the House Tully stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
makes a lot of sense.
on the box art, the only thing you can really see is it's kind of like a grey blue on the, but it's the lighting that they've used for the picture. But you can definitely see like a red, the red waistband, belt, ribbon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like the contrast around like the furs around the face and on the clothes as well. It's very nice. Next up we have Lewis doing his Stark. So he's chosen to go for a unit of Berserkers in a lot of snow. Really striking red colour on the tunics, which is House Umber's colour. But what do you guys quickly think on the Berserkers?
Well, when I first saw them, I thought they were Free Folk Raiders, and then I went, "Oh, wait a minute," because he put a lot of snow on their bases. That looks really smart. I like the red against.
Winter is coming.
Yeah, winter is definitely coming.
Yeah, we can see some more of that really good non-metallic metal painting as well, like that we saw on Lewis's Unsullied.
Yeah,
he's applied it over to these as well. Yeah, lovely.
we've got Sandra as well. Really nice marble effect base. I do like a marble effect. Obviously, it's gone just for the whole base in itself, not for like an insert or anything. But looks really nice. I really like Sansa. What do you think of the marble effect?
That's really cool.
It's cool.
Mm.
I mean, I am intrigued how you do something like that.
I won't be able to do it with a Greyjoys, but I'm sure I'll obviously Greyjoy number as a commander.
Yeah, he's lovely.
On a rock.
Yep, some nice metal again. Good.
That scale, the scale mail on the skirt is pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, he's really getting the hang of that non-metallic metal. We've got Brian McGonagall up on screen. He's gone for Stark, so he's gone for a unit of Sworn Swords with sheep on the base. Obviously, getting ready for Welsh GT. And Sansa with Lady standing next to her. Obviously, Brian, a big supporter of the channel, big name in the community. But yeah, I think he's done really well. It's nice to see him painting some Starks. Obviously, a real man's faction, not this free folk rubbish.
Yeah.
I think that is all we've got at the moment for submission wise. There may be a few more. Again, I'll go with them myself when they come in. And so here we go, guys. We have got 2 more submissions. One from Simon Powell of Hornchurch Heroes. The other from Tim Whitney, who's a bit of a name in the community. If you've played any tournaments, you'd have seen Tim around. But we're going to jump into Simon Powell from Hornchurch Heroes first. Now, he's gone for Brotherhood without banners. We see a lot of Brotherhood in the Squires. I imagine because people have already been playing quite a few different factions, this gives you a brand new start, brand new faction to get excited about. If I'm honest, if James hadn't gone for Brotherhood, I probably would have gone for Brotherhood. But this is the first time we see Brotherhood archers in Squires of Ice and Fire. So obviously Simon's gone for a really nice, it's like a really earthy feel. But then he's got some nice bright colours in here as well, like the whites on the tunics. It's a really nice green. There's a really nice bright yellow, which I would suggest sort of hints at these guys being from House Baratheon. He's done Beric Dondarrion as his commander, using some OSL there, object source lighting, which makes the miniature look like it's lit up by the object that it's holding or a light nearby, and the Ghost of High Heart as well. Yeah, really nice, really good. We did a hobby hangout with Simon a little while back on his Lannisters, so he's obviously put the Lannisters down to go with someone a little bit more pleasant, I guess. Then we have Tim Whitney's Brotherhood Without Banners. Tim's gone for the Peasant Levy as well. Really, really nice unit, really nice colours, really earthy tones as we come to expect from the Peasant Levy and Brotherhood Without Banners in general. But there are some nice colours on the back, on the banner in the background, and obviously Tim's added some dogs as well, which gives this unit a lot of character. And Brotherhood Without Banners are nothing if they haven't got a bit of character with them as well. So that's really nice to see. First time we see Revilla Smallwood as an NCU. for Brotherhood in Squires. Really nice. Obviously, the face is just incredible with Tim's painting. And Beric Dondarrion, again, we see really nice OSL and that brother and the Baratheon banner on the floor as well, which is really good. Both people great painters, and both people meeting the standard that we expect of them as hobbyists. So well done, guys. And let's get back to the episode. Whoop, over and out. One final submission that came in very, very last minute was from Karl from West Coast Bannerman with his Boltons. Obviously, the first Bolton submission we've got for Squires of Ice and Fire. And to say these guys are thematic is an understatement. Going for a really pink rainbow style Bolton faction. Karl actually put a description with the with this and says that it's really about turning the evilest, scariest faction into the cutest. That this will allow his daughter to have an army that she can field and have fun with, and also because it was Michael Chanel's favourite faction, it's now in full of bright pink colours and rainbows. So lots and lots of stuff going on there. Really strong submission goal. Obviously, we're going to. I think the game's already won as soon as you put this on the table, just through the pure excitement and brightness of the army. So, yeah, well done, mate. Keep it up. Look forward to seeing what you're going to do next. Part 4. So, next month's challenge. You ready for next month's challenge?
Yep.
I'm going to put actual times at this time because we got a bit f***ing stripped up last time. So what I'm saying is we're doing it the last for every month. So by the 24th of March, you want to have one starter box unit and one additional box added to your armory. So one additional box that isn't a heroes box. So is that a question you feel that you can all answer now?
Yeah, mate. Activation banners all the way.
Activation banners.
Oh, great shout.
I can't, mate. I'm running Greyjoys. I need about fucking 20.
And I'm all good because I don't have any activation banners.
Activation bases. Well, let's go for it one by one then. Steve, who are you going to add first?
Well, from the starter box, I'm going to go with the Sand Skirmishers.
Nice.
Because it means I'll get to do another annoying colour. I'll get to paint some nice creamy cloaks this time. And the extra box, I think I'm going to get me airbrushing on and have a go at some of these cavalry that we've been talking about. So I think I'll go with the. It's a tricky one. I like both the cavalry units models wise, but I know the Outriders are probably a better choice. Yeah, that's it. Starfall Outriders. I'll do those.
Let's go to James.
Oh, super easy. Very similar to Steve's unit box choice. I'm going with the cavalry unit. It's got to be a unit of Sworn Knights.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to go with Brotherhood Archers for my second starter box unit.
Awesome. Karl?
So from the starter box, I'm going to go for a unit of the Outriders to give me some range, and for the expansion, I'm going to go for Hrakars.
Nice. 6 models.
6 models. Yeah, but we've talked about this. It's more than 6. But yeah,
a full box of Hrakars or one Hrakar.
Well, I think I'll go for a full box because in the spirit of the painting competition, it's got to be done. And I think it'll be really nice to try and push my airbrushing a bit further onto them lions. So yeah, I'll get practice before them.
Well, I think because you've got such few models now, I want to put a little caveat on this that I want you to do something really special with one of the bases at least.
What do you mean, really special? They're all
really special. You're in the desert, so do something special in the desert with them.
All right. I'll have a think.
I was about to say, I'll take my hat off to you if you can use 2 units of Hrakars in one game.
Challenge accepted, mate. All over that.
You're limited to 2 an army, otherwise I'll take 9. Cool. And for my expansion, I'm going to paint Reavers from the box. So, because I think they're really good, and I really want to get a unit of them painted. I don't think they're going to offer me anything different to what I'm currently painting for Greyjoys. I think it's all very similar colour-wise. And as an expansion, I was really, really torn because I feel like the army's missing defence. So I was tempted to take the Iron Makers. Then I thought, well, do I go for an Aggie unit? You know, a lot of people you see playing competitively are running Silence Men. And Silence Men will be a really easy option for me to paint because it's just skin and a cloak. There's not much going on at all with the sculpts themselves. But I'm going to lean more into the Victorian stuff. So I'm going to go for the Iron Victory crew because I really like the models. I think they'll be really nice to paint. I think the Reavers might be a bit of an uphill struggle because they're a little bit bland when it comes to detail. So I think the Ironborn Victory crew will be quite a nice addition to that.
Nice.
I didn't know
Good
if you were going
choice.
to go for the Drown Men.
Sure, my name is Karl. I'm going to take the Drown Men and convert them to put all 9 of them on one base.
Right for you. I haven't got any solos in my army.
Wah, wah,
Well,
wah.
Oberyn's technically a solo, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 man army.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, cheers for the chat. People want to join in this challenge, continue with us. You don't have to have done last month to carry on. It's just, try and keep pace with what we're doing. You're looking to paint a second unit from the starter set and an additional expansion box that isn't a hero's choice. So another unit added to your army, or 2 lines if your name is Karl. Cheers for checking it out, guys. And we'll catch you soon.
Cheers, mate. See you later on.
Cheers.
Yeah, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for checking out this latest edition of Squires of Ice and Fire. We're going to be back next month for episode 3 with our additions to the army, with more painting updates. If you are excited about the series, if you want us to talk about specifics, please do leave a comment in the section below or send us a direct message, and I'll make sure that we come to it, whether it be Steve's basing or Karl's airbrushing or the different sort of stuff that James got in his base. Any questions you want to ask, leave them in the chat and we will directly answer them in the next episode. Cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, because it helps with the algorithms in YouTube and gets us out further afield and helps us build this amazing community that is established within the game of A Song of Ice and Fire. Take care, guys. Be good.